Cool. So this is a video about, well, the first part's going to be about love, really, and about what you really need to break on love, just because there's some beliefs out there that really just, you got to love yourself. And loving yourself is the first part of what the big thing is going to be, which is figuring out and understanding that you are enough. There's that kind of statement is one of the largest lies that you could ever tell yourself, and you're the only one that ever believes it. Nobody else can truly believe it. No one else can really even, I guess, put it onto you. So, I guess with love, when you don't have people who love you, or you don't feel that you have people who love you, and you're not receiving love the way you're actually wanting to receive it, one of the easiest questions and the biggest things that you end up asking yourself is, what's wrong with me? It's easier for you mentally to go ahead and blame yourself and really bring the feelings and the problem back to you, because that's the one thing you have control of, and you think that because you're not doing something specific, it's you that's actually the one who's not being able to, like, you're the one who has something wrong with yourself, which is completely not the case. When things aren't working for you, really it's easy for you to go ahead and blame yourself for something going wrong. And one of the most difficult concepts for people to think and understand about is that love is actually kind of hard. It's supposed to be challenging. That's one of the big things about genuine love. Love is supposed to be pretty difficult due to the fact that it's meaningful, it's authentic, it's real, it's there with you. And love is challenging specifically so that you can genuinely learn things. That's one of the big things from it. Lessons and I guess lessons in general just help you kind of really be authentic and help you figure out what you want for yourself and who you are as a person. And people think that challenges mean that, or more often than not, they don't want to actually do the challenges, which is weird because internally you want to, but usually it's an outside force that's telling you I guess that you're not enough when they don't have any say in it, and allows you to kind of just come back and hurt on yourself. But really the beliefs that you have internally are the things that make love hard. Love and intimacy are really, down to it, is it's one person coming up to another person and both of them being very genuine and authentic with each other, being able to express feelings openly and not have to worry about the outside world, or it's just them two together. And I don't know if y'all have ever found anybody y'all can genuinely be authentic with, but I have, and it's a great feeling. It's a pretty good thing. No judgment, nothing coming through, but it's really difficult to find that person, or it's really difficult to be able to be authentic with people, because society is so big on, especially the new society, it's big on negativity, and it's the culture of roasting people, or really meme culture really has been a really big negativity thing lately. But I guess one of the things to remember is that we're all born with love. We're all born with an innate sense of love. Babies, easy to love, completely amazing. You want to give love to them consistently. You want to be very authentic with them. And they are there to be loved. That's what they want openly, and that's what they really want to feel. And then as you grow up, kids, younger kids specifically, and I think I've stated this before, kids are really how we should act as people. They're driven by feelings, they're driven by what they want, they're driven by what they, again, feel, and they really don't care. So when they're really easy to love, because when you have a person being authentic to you, you just want to kind of give that love back and push it forward. So if a kid wants ice cream, he's going to run up to you and just yell ice cream, and, well, you know what he wants. there's no getting around it. He wants ice cream. Or when he wants love, he's feeling sad, he's going to go ahead and push that towards you, and he's going to be like, hey, I'm not feeling sad, I'm not feeling well, and you can really see it in him, and he's going to be wanting his needs to be met. And when we as adults, we get trained, starting from when we're actual kids, to not be able to express your feelings, not be able to feel exactly what you're supposed to feel or wanting to feel. And when you're not able to, it really sucks, because it puts you in a really hampered state of being able to accept love, because truly, I think to find love and to find someone whom will love you, you have to genuinely be authentic and really work with yourself. Being able to be yourself and being able to push forward and I guess show the world who you really are and be unapologetic about it is one of the big things on allowing yourself to feel that love. And no one that I know now really wants to do that. Even myself, there are times where I will act a different way just because, well, I kind of want to fit in or whatever. And I'm working on it this year. I'm trying to go ahead and push past that and really be me, because I think I'm pretty fucking dope, realistically. But one of the also big things and myths about love is that people like to think and put a standard of, you have to know something about love. So whenever you go to do something, you're like, oh, well, first I have to do this, first I have to go talk to her, first I have to go make sure I'm interesting when I'm talking to her, first I need to do this, first I need to do that. And that's also another huge lie and a myth that we allow ourselves to believe. One of the big things about love is you don't need to know anything about it. You just have to be, again, genuinely authentic. Being authentic is going to be one of the things that pushes you to be greater than what you ever think you can be. And honestly, it'll draw love to you. As you grow and be you, you will bring more and more love to yourself without having to even try, honestly. It'll be like magic. And when you're able to really get, I guess, overthinking out of the situation and out of the project, it really helps. Overthinking's when things happen. Most people don't really just feel from their hearts, and they don't do emotions really well. When I make decisions now, I really just do it by how I feel. If it feels like it's something I want, I genuinely have like that, you know, when you get excited about something, that genuine fire inside of you, fucking do it. You stopping yourself is literally the only reason you're not going to be getting it. You know the answer whenever you're not able to get it. So really starting off and being able to be authentic and feel love and be genuine with what you got going on is going to be the first step to actually being able to figure out what you are as someone whom is enough. And when you're able to love yourself and be genuine and be authentic, it's amazing. It's very freeing. But that's kind of the end of that subject. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about, I guess, tips and things I've learned from a mentor of mine about how to be enough and how to feel like you're enough, and because you're enough constantly. But really just being able to go ahead and push forward and doing something that you actually want to do. Cool. So, now, not enoughness. If you see me looking down, I have like a book that I was writing shit in so that I could kind of really get my thoughts together and have some sort of a script. Going off the dome is really cool and everything, but I need to actually have points so that way I'm not just rambling for 13 hours. So not enoughness. Most people feel like they're not enough to be loved, and that's one of the ones I want to kind of focus on. That's actually the main one I'm focusing on right now, because I've noticed a lot of people that I do love feel that, and people I do care about just kind of consistently say it, and as of recently, it's been consistently popping into their heads and consistently popping out in their actions. But most people, whenever they feel like they're not enough, it kind of puts them in a corner. They act a lot more different than they normally would look and act. But whenever not enoughness is brought up, you just got to remember to yourself. And obviously, I'm hoping y'all don't believe I'm just gonna be like, oh, it's not real. It's simple. There you go. It's done. End the video. But not enoughness is one of the biggest lies in anything, honestly, that you've ever told yourself or anyone else has ever told themselves. Usually, not enoughness comes from something happened when you were earlier in your life. Let's say somebody cheated on you, for example. That's a really easy and very palpable topic. Someone cheated on you, and now you have this belief that, well, I wasn't enough for that person. I'm not enough for anybody. Something happened and I don't know what I did wrong. I was trying my hardest. I was doing everything I needed to personally do. And at the end of the day, I just wasn't enough. And whenever you feel that, whenever you think that, it's real easy to put the blame on yourself. But ideally, you were completely enough, 100%. But I like to go ahead and believe that the universe was really telling you that this person probably wasn't supposed to be in your life to begin with. You learned your lesson from them, that you had your good times, you did your things, but it wasn't you that wasn't enough. It was them who just didn't know what they wanted, or they wanted something else and they weren't really able to tell you. And more often than not, I've seen relationships where they stay with each other, not because they don't love each other or don't care about each other, but they've really moved on, but it's because they do care about each other so much that they won't end it because they think that it'll be life or death kind of situation, and that's usually not the case. Everyone gets better, everyone makes things happen, everyone soars and does amazing, usually, if you allow yourself to. But so it's usually that scared sensation that allows you to really kind of just hold back on yourself and make you feel like you're enough, and that's usually where the root, like, actually just came from. But usually when you're not able to love yourself, and that not feeling enough allows yourself to not love yourself so much, you really blame yourself, and you end up going in this perpetual cycle of, what did I do wrong? How did I do that wrong? I'm so stupid. I can't do this. And again, all lies to yourself. I understand you feel it. It's easy to feel it because it's a way to escape and make excuses. But more so, it's how we cope with sadness or unhappiness or anything like that. And some people really just make up in their own mind that they're not enough. They make up that they're not enough to do certain things. They make up that they're not enough to get what they want. They're not enough to do anything they want. And usually when they do that, it's really, and the word excuse is completely accurate, it's an excuse not to go do something you want to do. And you're allowed to admit you're afraid, because that's usually what it is. You're scared to go do what you're wanting to do. You're scared to go be out there, and you're scared to go do something different. But it's easy to lie to yourself when you don't have to argue, really, with anybody. And I guess one of the big things is that when you're lying to yourself, you know it, because you do feel it. And most people just kind of push that down, and they just push it down and not really have to worry about it until they start feeling insecure or not enough again, and then it comes back up. And when you are able to kind of figure out that you are lying to yourself, and you're able to really see it, once you spot a lie, it dissolves. You can't accept that lie anymore. It's just not possible. So the example that I learned from my mentor was, he uses Santa Claus. Once you figure out Santa Claus isn't real, you don't go back to believing in him, realistically. You can if you want to, but you ultimately know he's a lie. You know he's not real. You're not trying to fight back and figure out, oh, Santa Claus, oh, I guess he's real. No, he's coming through. And, obviously he's not. So whenever you're able to figure out and see the lie that you put up forward, that you're not enough, and you see that you're lying to yourself, and you know you are, it really helps kind of just dissolve what's going on there. There's 6 categories that really kind of embody what you end up doing when you feel like you're not enough, and he calls them hurdy choices, and it's choices you make to kind of keep yourself in that little circle of not enough. It's validation, so you try and get external cues and validation from other people, whether it's from loved ones, friends, whoever. Avoiding, you completely, like I said earlier, you make excuses. You kind of just push forward, and you don't do things because you like to make excuses, and you validate them in yourself, even though they're not really genuine excuses that you just kind of validate them to you. You attack. You make people wrong for the choices they make, not for the choices that you're making. You get guarded, so you put up a wall around yourself. You allow yourself to kind of stay guarded and not open up to anybody and not be authentic to anybody, which earlier in the video, being authentic, as I said, was one of the most freeing and amazing things to help you really be yourself and be loved. And then stalling, um, and that's really, again, like it says, just pushing off things, not doing things because you're like, oh well, I have to do this other thing first, or I have to do this first before I'm able to do this, and again, like I said earlier, love, you don't need to know anything, you don't need to do anything for love necessarily, just, again, be you, 100% you, and it'll, and there was a real cool concept that he calls the hateful, or the figure hate, and it's a little circle, so it's, you think about not being enough, you make a hurty choice, so you either avoid something, you go try and validate yourself through something, then you disconnect from actual love. When you make hurty choices, it allows you to disconnect yourself from actual love because you're overthinking everything, and love isn't thinking, love is really feeling. When it goes back, it reinforces, and after you disconnect from love, it reinforces that you're not enough, and then when you're able to, and you start reinforcing that, it goes ahead and puts it back to your thoughts, you start overthinking, and then you make another hurty choice. It's that little figure hate, as he says, that keeps making you really feel negative and allows you to keep hurting yourself, when I know you don't want to, but you might not really kind of pick it out or see exactly who you are, in regards to being hurtful for yourself. So let's see, if you keep making hurty choices, you will be there forever. One of the big things is, just because you're afraid, it doesn't mean you need to act from fear. One of the big things that God, universe, whoever gave us was courage. And you're allowed to be scared, but still do something about it. You don't have to be completely fearless. Being scared is a good thing. It's a thing telling you that maybe I should actually do what I'm about to do. It's a really good, empowering feeling. So instead of making the hurty choices, he also has these things called flirty choices. I guess it was just kind of mix and match with them, but being authentic instead of needing to be validated, being compassionate instead of needing to attack, act on your ideas, be spontaneous, be very open and sharing with yourself and others, and then the one it's honestly the biggest one when you're stalling is just surrender and allow yourself. Give yourself permission to do whatever you want to do. Go talk to that person, do whatever. One of the real big stories that he gave, that really kind of, I guess, was related to validation as a hurty choice, was when he talked about how he went out to a club one night and this really attractive woman gave him her number. He accepted it. He was super excited, super stoked. He never thought in a million years that he would be able to get that. And then one of his friends, who's a personal development coach, came up to him and was like, "Are you gonna call her?" And he talked about how he wanted to. Of course he is. And his coach really came up to him and was like, "I don't think you should call her tonight. I really don't think you should actually give her a call. Because when you do, you're gonna have sex with her. And if you have sex with her, it's gonna allow you to really go for, like, when you have sex with her, you're gonna need to feel like you're enough. And you think that having sex with her will be something that'll push you forward and make you feel like you are actually enough. And ultimately, you're going to be reinforcing that not enoughness because you needed somebody outside of you to go ahead and make you feel like you were enough. And I guess the end of the story was he ended up not calling her back, which was good for him personally. It allowed him to really kind of just push forward and be himself. Whenever you're able to be authentically yourself, love gets pushed towards you. In any way, being able to be open with yourself and being able to push forward and do things is really, I guess it's kind of just what you need to do with yourself, because if you're not able to open up to your own self, then who really are you going to open up to? Who are you going to be able to accept into your life as a love? When you really think about, like, who you're talking to, when it's all these fears and internal beliefs, you got to think about it as yourself as a little child. When you think of yourself as a little child, you wouldn't be yelling at yourself to do something better. You're like, no, you fuck that up. Like, don't do that shit. Anything like that. You don't really kind of push that to them. You're very caring and compassionate to a kid. So you need to approach yourself the same way. When you're not feeling enough, when you're not feeling well, you need to go ahead and go talk to yourself internally and just be like, hey, what's going on? Why are we feeling like we're not enough? Why really do we feel this way instead of another way? Being really honest with yourself and being able to open up to yourself on exactly what you want and what you feel is really going to be the first step to actually pushing yourself out. And again, that's a real big first step from his action steps that he has about being able to get yourself into a better situation, a better thought pattern. So being able to be aware, getting to know exactly why you're hurting, why you're feeling insecure, why you're doing this thing, is really easy. A really easy way to actually just push yourself to be better. Once you get to know yourself and be aware and love yourself, you can spot the lie. And once you're able to spot that lie in yourself, it really just dissipates. Again, because you can't believe it. I mean, you can choose to not want to do anything about it, but really, it's going to eat you up on the inside. So, like I said earlier, how fear is something you can feel. It's okay to. I wouldn't say that it's not, because all your feelings are genuine. But when you're able to feel things and you're able to kind of just sit there and really dissect why you fear, and let's say asking somebody out, or asking somebody out is probably going to be the best example. So scared, sitting there, not doing it, and you're going to make up every excuse under the sun not to do it. You're going to make every single choice you could possibly make to do the opposite thing. That's cool to do that, but you need to not lie to yourself. So if you allow yourself to really kind of feel it, just feel it and be like, you know what, I'm actually scared as shit. I don't understand why, but like, I'm going to figure out why I don't feel like I can. And there's two ways that this could end up going. You don't ask her out, and then she ends up dating somebody later, and you're like, what the fuck? Of course, I wasn't enough. You try and validate yourself. You try and validate your fears and be like, oh no, I wasn't enough. Of course she would date that person. Why wouldn't she date me? Of course not. Or you say, hey, I'm scared. It's okay to be scared. I understand that I'm scared. I'm not going to act right now on it, but I do understand that I'm scared. And when you're allowing yourself to really feel and validate exactly what you're scared of, eventually your body gets, like internally, your ego hates when you don't do things that'll make you feel good. Ego fucking hates it. And the internal brain will eventually, after enough times that you saying, I'm scared, I shouldn't talk to her, you'll go up there and you'll talk to her, and absolutely nothing will go wrong. You'll end up talking to him, and sometimes it works out, sometimes you'll get the person, sometimes you won't. But when you're able to see and be proud of yourself when you did something that you didn't think you could possibly do prior, leaps and bounds, you won't feel horrible about it. Yeah, you'll be a little disappointed at first, but because you spotted the lie of yourself being fearful and really kind of holding your own self back, it's going to be a super empowering experience. And this quote really kind of resonated with me with the whole fear thing, but when you stay back and you allow yourself to be fearful, you sit yourself in comfort. But he really kind of emphasized this, that I choose comfort over my dreams. And when you say that, that's a big bam, ego hurt completely. You're not able to kind of just sit there and accept it anymore, because the ego won't let you. The ego loves to do things that are ridiculous and very passion driven, but when you're able to kind of spot that to yourself, it really helps dissolve exactly what the not enoughness is, because you don't want to be comfortable. You deserve to be loved 100% of the time. Anyone telling you otherwise, first of all, has no say in the matter. It's all you. You're the one who gives the power. But if it's you saying it, then again, you deserve 10 times more than what you think you deserve. So, I guess a real big example of, triggers for not enoughness. Another one would be, let's say somebody's late. And when that person's late, it makes you feel like you're not loved enough for them to be there on time, when they could have just ran into something. But when someone's late and you really feel like you're not enough, sometimes you attack them. And one of the big attackings is going to be like, of course, why were you late? Why the fuck weren't you here on time? Of course, like, why the hell would you do that? When someone attacks you like that, if you're the other person, do you really feel like being open? Do you really feel like being loving? And the answer is probably, of course, not. They didn't respect you. They didn't try and talk with you. So as the person who feels like they're not enough because somebody happened to be late for whatever reason, being able to talk with them and be authentic and be like, hey, when you were late today, it really hurt my feelings. It really made me feel like I wasn't enough. It really made me feel like I didn't matter. If I could just have you, and some, like, mentally, because of what everyone thinks, you're going to think this is like a passive aggressive move or attacking move, and trying to make them feel different. Being able to say to them, hey, it really makes me insecure whenever you show up late. It makes me feel like I don't matter to you. Could you please just try and be on time more often? If something happened, I understand, but, like, again, mentally, I'd like to just be authentic with you and be able to push my feelings forward and show you that this is what I felt. And when you're able to do that, it empowers you. It makes you feel amazing. So being able to do that kind of thing, the last thing, I guess, to help get yourself into feeling more like you're enough, because you are, is, he calls it activating the great. And, like, for example, whenever you talk to that person finally and they didn't really reciprocate any feelings, or that person, you opened up to that person and they finally, like, accepted it, and you were like, hey, like, cool, I am like, I was able to get my feelings out there. Activating the great is being able to see that in yourself, that you were doing great, you did fantastic, you allowed yourself to open up and be amazing. So it really helps dissolve any sort of insecurities, because you're allowing yourself to see how great you were and how much of a great choice you made by being able to be yourself and be your own person. So I guess it's kind of just, it's what I picked up. It really helped me as a whole, being able to kind of spot things for myself and being able to be self-aware. And I guess overall, the whole encompassing thing of this is being aware and love yourself. That's it. Don't worry about anybody else. Just, again, love yourself and be 100% you. So I hope somebody at least got some sort of value out of this. I care deeply about everybody. I want everyone to feel passionate enough about themselves, and I would love to talk to anybody who doesn't feel enough and would like some extra talking to, because I'd love to help cater it to exactly who you are.